3. This is a new story about the buyer's guide to AI/ML data infrastructure, choosing right storage solution for data-driven enterprise. Next is buyer's guide was written by the Wakaro Incorporation. Buyer's guide to the AI/ML data infrastructure. There are several options on the topic of what makes a storage solution modern, and here we look at the intersections of these opinions. The autonomy of modern solution. There are several opinions on the topic of what makes a storage solution modern. Here we look at the intersection of these options. One of the cornerstones of the scientific discovery is HPC, and all the while the systems making up a high-performance computing infrastructure has evolved radically due to the technical innovation. The solutions for the field data has experienced a little change over the last 24 and 35 years. The legacy old world storage platform were designed for PhDs. The complexity, along with the myopic performance and the model, have proven difficult at best to manage. Today, the modern HPC platform, driven by powerful GPUs, is becoming the mainstream, having been deployed across the broad and diverse industries such as M&E, fintech, life sciences, and high-performance data analytics. However, some are still using these legacy storage solutions from the previous century to serve up data to the platform. Achieving results and outcomes should be a primary purpose of the using on HPC computing platform, and the reason why a modern storage solution for HPC is required. If you are tasked with identifying a modern solution for your environment, it is important to take into consideration not only your environment today, which will soon be in your immediate past, but also what your environment will consist of in the future. In this section, we will provide a list of key characteristics that makes up the autonomy of the modern storage solution. Use this list to weight key decision factors when choosing the right solution today for tomorrow's workload, ensuring you truly have selected a modern storage solution. Top 10 key characteristics of modern storage solution. 1. Cloud first enabled, software-defined. Modern solutions are software-defined and equally at home in the cloud, on-premise, or as in a hybrid model without limiting features of the capabilities. 2. Intelligent software. A modern solution will minimize the impact of the administration and configuration while intelligently managing the placement of the data across the storage tiers. 3. Flexible choices in cloud and on-premises. A modern solution offers customer freedom to choose the modern and component for an on-premise environment. Similarly, when investing in cloud, customers should have the choice of the hyperscalers. 4. Unified global names. Modern solutions have overcome the hierarchical storage solution of an OR by creating a simple namespaces to access all data, irrespective of the tier it is located. This enhances the user experience and eliminates costly cycles required for data recall or data copies. 5. Deployment independence. Modern solutions allow customers to take a full advantage of the cloud and or new technologies, gaining mainstream adoption not be locked into either old technology or an unproven technology that has reached end of life. 6. High performance and low latency speed. Today's GPU-driven applications such as deep learning, AI/ML require a considerable data pipeline to take full advantage of these resources. A modern solution will perform at the highest levels while at the lowest latency without having to be reconfigured based on the dataset variety of the characteristics. 7. Built-in data protection. Many storage solutions offer snapshots as an option to enhance data protection. Modern solutions provide the feature and integrated to cloud resources for rapid recovery. 6. User experience. Simplicity. Maximizing your employee resources is one key to your success. Your experience with a modern storage solution should be consistent and repeatable, no matter where the solution exists, on-premises, the cloud, or hybrid. 6. Exabyte capacity scale. With data growth continuing to skyrocket, so should your storage solution based on your unique and specific needs. Modern solutions manage trillions of the files and directories and multiple exabytes of the storage. 10. Multi-protocol and cross-protocol support. The multi-protocol has been around for years, but modern solutions offer not only multiple protocols for access, but cross-protocol support for simultaneous access to data via any protocol. Data-driven enterprise. According to the Accenture, the amount of data generated by the modern business is scarcely conceivable, and that the amount will only grow to increasingly monumental proportion in the near future. They go on the project as a global society, we will be producing data at a rate of over 450 exabytes per day by 2025. This is why the Accenture urge organizations to capitalize the rise of the data-driven enterprise. However, over the years, legacy vendors have built architectures to deal with each workload requirement separately. One for SAN, another for NAS, and yet another for object storage. On top of it is not uncommon to find a separate architecture built for capacity and performance. These days, most enterprises have a hybrid or multi-cloud strategy, which can introduce yet another layer of complexities, leading to the complicated management due to the incompatible tools and processes from several different architectures. Additionally, as data grows, it becomes increasingly more difficult to manage across these multiple siloed architectures and provide meaningful and timely access to your users without having to maintain multiple copies of your data. In the end, there is a trade-off between simplicity, speed, scale, and sustainable, and the legacy architectures are quite simple, ill-equipped to serve data-driven enterprise. NAS is simple to use and manage, but not performant enough for modern applications. SAN or parallel file systems provide performance but are complex and expensive. Object storage provided the scale but is not performed too useful. Accenture says that 84% of businesses do not have the data platform they need to truly elevate to the level of a data-driven enterprise. This, in many ways, exacerbates the lack of a solid data strategy reported by 81% of the businesses to use the full potential of their data. This is a better way. How to spot a vintage vendor in storage. Let's face it, if you had a Sony Walkman in the 80s playing your favorite cassette mixtape, you were considered one of the cool kids. today. If you show up with the one with that on the street, folks might be wondering that museum you are advertising. Just like the cassettes were cool for their time, it just doesn't cut it for today's needs. So, to help you spot those vintage vendors, we have identified 6 aspects outlined below, all of the which make a vendor ineffective for modern data storage requirements. 1. Selling system built with proprietary hardware. If you are still using a storage solution that is available only in a customized proprietary hardware from a factor from your storage vendor, it's a clear indication you're not using a solution based on the current design principles, and you're buying legacy storage. 2. Hybrid cloud is limited. If your current storage vendor does not support the same specifications for features, CLI, performance, and scaling both on-premise and in the cloud, these are clear indications that you are using a legacy vendor. Limited scale and support for mixed workloads. When considering your data center architecture decision, if you must deploy more storage systems than are functionally required by the physical separation of resources, you are using a legacy storage vendor. If you must make a sizing decision that lock you in for the life of a system without the ability to extend or shrink as needed, you are using a legacy storage vendor. 4. Limited aggregate performance and single client performance. If the storage system you are using now has the same single client performance limitation that existed above decade ago, you are using a legacy storage vendor. If the system you are using now has an aggregate throughout the I/O number that not increased dramatically when compared with the numbers a decade ago, you are using legacy storage vendors. 5. Beta data backup and DR are performed by other or afterthought. If your primary storage product, your backup product, and your cloud product are different entity, you are dealing with a legacy storage vendor. If your storage vendor forces you to treat backup and DR differently and store data twice, you're using a legacy vendor. If your storage vendor forces you to go to a third-party solution to get a sound backup or archive strategy, you are also using a legacy vendor. If the performance of the storage system drops significantly during the rebuild, you are using a legacy vendor. If you are using a rebuilding blocks and not files, you're using a legacy vendor. If you don't have end-to-end data integrity protection for the client, each block has a checksum that is calculated at the client and verified on each step of the way to ensure not bit rolled. You are using a legacy storage vendor. You need to make trade-off. If your storage vendor has many products, which each with slightly different trade-offs, you must use a different mix of them as solution to different projections. You are using legacy vendor. For example, different utilities for taking snapshots of the backup, taking snapshots of the burst, and etc. While modern workloads, technology has changed dramatically in the last 2 years. The high-speed connectivity has become a commodity, and computing now works at a mind-blowing speed. Just think about how quickly an autonomous vehicle processes and reacts to the potential accident situation. It's done in milliseconds. Data is being generated all around us. Street cameras, shopping centers, office buildings, your car and your phone, your watch, your family home automation and security systems, and more. Just as just as our professional consumer data speed and quantity have changes. So has the enterprise workload changes from client-server technologies and iteration database and to machine and the deep learning process by the mini edging processors and supercomputers in the core. This leads to a new workload, use case, and abilities to accomplish previously impossible outcomes. Here are some examples of modern workloads and use cases. Life sciences, ability to sequence genomes in record time, electron microscopy, and AI in imaging storage. Research, drug discovery and imaging processing in the pharmaceutical development and research. Financial services, new trading algorithms, modeling and simulations. Automotive, autonomous driving and training models that crunch enormous amount of the data. M&E, live file processing, rendering large files, 8 kilo streaming video post-production, etc. Today's workloads with the traditionally containerized demand a new class of storage that delivers the performance, manageability, and scalability required to obtain or sustain in an organization's competitive advantage. Key tenet of the modern storage platform: simplicity. Consolidated all your workloads on a single platform, respective of the data profile. For years, it was believed to get ultra high performance, you needed to sacrifice simplicity. Weka, W-E-K-A, has cracked the code, and our modern file system, Weka FS, is different, combining top-notch performance with simple and reliable management. No special tuning or reconfiguring is required, even for mixed file sizes and data profiles. Weka makes it too easy to deploy, configure, and manage storage on-premise or in the cloud. Speed. Single client performance up to 162 GB per is throughout a 2 million IOs and with proven cloud performance up to 2 TB per sec. Delivered performance is required to power up to the most demanding applications and the workloads to dramatically accelerated time to insight. Weka is modern to architecture is built from the ground up for Flash and optimized for NVMe and Cloud to power breakthrough the innovation. Scale. Weka enables high-performance computing at a massive scale without breaking the bank. Modern workloads and today's hybrid cloud environment has dramatically changed the needs of the data center. In addition to offering linear scaling with the scale-out of the system, Weka redefined scalability in the cloud era and allows customers to scale in every dimension possible. Sustainability. As evidence suggests that today, data centers account for roughly 3% of global energy consumption, left unchecked, that could rise 8% by 2030. Weka delivers 6 to 50 times 10 to 50 times increased GPU stack efficiency through its high-speed data architecture, reducing annual GPU operating energy. It also can shrink data infrastructure footprint by 4 to 7 times through data copy reduction in cloud elasticity. Weka data platform saved over 260 tons of CO2 emission per petabyte over the typical 3 to 5 year life compared to traditional data architecture. The only point of consideration when choosing modern storage: the simplicity, ease of management. 2. Reducing management overhead per petabyte. Is hardware agnostic, single namespace. Automated data optimizations, built-in data protection, consolidation of data silos. Prometheus is Graphene support. 9. Speed, system performance IOPS per bandwidth, improves workload performance, improving performance of customers. Rapid deployment of new applications, zero-touching tuning for fixed file sizes and data profiles. Scale, 14. Deploying anywhere, on-premise, cloud, or hybrid. 15. Scale capacity up and down, exabyte scale capabilities. Scale for disaster recovery. Scale for performance compute across fixed workload or across availability zones. Sustainability. 19. Maximize GPU utilization. 20. Reduce data pipeline idle time. Leverage cloud bursting. Low overall power consumption footprint. 23. Extend the usable life of your investment. Is critical functionality. 24 is for cloud native capabilities. 25 is container support. Support multiple data types, file and object. Multi-protocol simultaneous access support. 28. An ecosystem of several vendors. An ecosystem of storage vendors. Use of new technologies and they are released. For example, new CPUs and NVMEs and servers and etc. The technical capability overview. This section provides a detailed comparison of NetApp and Dell, Fast Data and DDN Glass, Lustre, and Weka. Comparison of simplicity and speed and scale. There is criteria and capabilities: simplicity, speed, and scale. Simplicity, easy to deploy and manage. Speed is mixed workload. Scale is the thousands of compute server and storage with linear scaling. The Weka, NetApp, Bare Power Scale, and Vast Data, and DDN Roster. So this is a Weka or yes. NetApp is yes. No, its performance fell off under load. As no, its performance fell under load, read-only workload, legacy database processing capabilities, curtails small file I/O. Comparison of capabilities. Criterion capabilities, deployment models, administrative data types. Deployment model is on-premise, cloud, hybrid, and administrate GUI CLI API. Data types, file object. The mixed workloads is efficiently perform large and small IOPs on the same file system. Cloud bursting, natively moving data to the cloud. The cloud extensibility runs in the cloud same as on-premise, deploying management and functionality. Ability to extend namespace to object storage. The multiple protocol support. POSIX, NFS, SMB, S3. The container support works with CSI interface. Security. End-to-end encryption in flight and in rest. Multi-tenancy. Ability to create multiple and a separated namespace with separated management capabilities. Support for ACLs. Hardware running on the fair on off-the-shelf server. Agnostic, not tied to a specific hardware vendor. Scaling limits. Thousands of storage servers. thousands of the compute server. Scale capacity and performance independently. Integrate different tiers such as Flash and HDD. Same file system can be accommodate maximum throughput and IOPS without a configuration requirement. Ability to move in data between the different on-premise and public cloud environment without the need of third-party data or mover applications or backup applications. Companies are optimizing the Omni4 bandwidth, which is the routers and the GPFS has historically done. They are delivering the IOS and metadata performance, and the thing that matter, and you are doing anything that scales out. That is not a single large-scale situation. Weka, modern storage of the modern workload. Today's workload demands a new class of storage that delivers the performance, manageability, and scalability required to obtain or sustain an organization's competitive advantage while at the same time aligning with your corporate strategy for sustainability and reducing carbon emissions. The Weka data platform is designed and optimized for data-intensive modern workloads. It is ideally engineered to take storage performance and data availability to the next level of the performance demands identified in AI, ML, and deep learning. Each architecture and performance are designed to maximize usage of the GPUs across cloud and premise or hybrid deployment, providing data management capabilities that can accelerate time to inside the approach by as much as 80%. Effortless sustainable. The raw power there is for sustainability, scale, speed, and simplicity. Effortless sustainable, low energy consumption and reducing the result carbon emission by the cutting data pipeline, idle time expanding the sustained usable life of your hardware and moving workload to the cloud. Infinitely scalable. Eliminate the complexity and compromise at the traditional data infrastructure with a single and easy to use data platform, and then eliminating the storage silos across the on-premise and the cloud. And the speed. Mind-bending and fast. Deliver unbeatable and file object performance for your most demanding the application, supporting high I/O and low latency, small files, and mixed workloads with no tuning. Simplicity. Eliminating the complexity and the component compromises of the traditional data infrastructure with a single, easy-to-use data platform that eliminates storage silos across the on-premises and the cloud. Seductively simple. Okay, thank you for your time.